My name's Paine. I'm 49 years old. I'm a former plasterer and I'm a veteran of the British Army. I've been living in Northern Ireland now for about 23 years, where I now represent the United Patients Alliance. I'm a cannabis patient, and as the law stands, I'm a criminal. I have degenerative disc disease, which affects the top and bottom of my spine. I have some arthritis in the small joints in my spine, and I was born with a mild form of spina bifida. The degenerative disc disease is my main physical problem, and it's been treated with a long line of pharmaceuticals, mostly opiates, which were a hell to come off. I've had a line of pain management procedures which have had varying levels of success or distress depending on what was going on at the time. But now I manage the chronic pain from all of that and the mobility problems with just varying forms of cannabis. We've heard a lot of testimonies today about how cannabis helps a lot of us ease our pain. So if I may, I'm going to focus on another condition that can be fatal. It's one that takes its toll on many veterans and civilian survivors of conflict alike, and that's post-traumatic stress disorder. Having joined the Army at the tender age of 16, I served for 14 years with 3 different infantry units. Around 6 of those years were on active service on the streets and fields of Northern Ireland, with numerous incidents along the way. My first real baptism of fire was a car bomb in Londonderry in 1992, in which my commander was injured, casevaced, and then I had to take his place and stay and finish the night's work. I was diagnosed with PTSD around 6 or 7 years later, about a year before I left the forces. I was given counselling and prescribed antidepressants at the time. The one side effect that really stood out to me on the accompanying leaflet with the medication was that it could cause suicidal tendencies. So it was little wonder that I needed to be rescued when I turned my rifle on myself. Sadly, I'm not the only one. Many of my veteran brothers and sisters have witnessed more, and they suffer far deeper scars than I could ever imagine. As I said earlier, I use various forms of cannabis depending on my need at the time. Mostly though I smoke or vaporise herbal cannabis. In the current situation, this can prove far too costly in the black market, especially if you're on a limited budget. So last year I took it upon myself to grow my own medicine, just as I've been advising many patients to do the same. Sorry. I did this mainly so that I knew exactly what strains I would be getting, how it was grown, and obviously to save money. But by happy coincidence, I found that the growing of the plant was probably as therapeutic as actually using it as a medicine. Unfortunately though, I was caught after my first attempt. My medicine and my safe and efficient means of growing any more were all confiscated. The ensuing legal box ticking operation that amounted in a fine and suspended sentence caused a lot of unnecessary pain and anguish, not just for myself, but for my loved ones and my friends too. Again, my story is far from exclusive. Patients and their families are experiencing exactly the same week in, week out, and they're going to continue to do it until the policymakers do something about it. And on that note, I'm going to close now, but this is really one that I want to put for the policymakers. You once trusted me, and you still trust people like me to protect this nation with a loaded weapon. Now trust us to heal ourselves with the help of the plant.